This is Defense News Weekly from Newsgate Television, edition number 5. It was a landmark day for India and ISRO in particular on Sunday last, that is 2nd of April, when Indian Space Research Organisation successfully conducted test of its first reusable launch vehicle that could land on its wheels at a regular airstrip after a space trip. For the purpose of test, a Chinook heavy-lift helicopter lifted ISRO's RLV up to a height of 4.5 kilometers and then released it for its flight landing on a runway. According to ISRO, the RLV is essentially a space plane with a low lift-to-drag ratio requiring an approach at a high glide angles that necessitated landing at a high velocities of 350 km per hour. The test was conducted at the Aeronautical Test Range at Indian Air Force Base at Chitradurga in Karnataka. It may be recalled that ISRO had attempted similar test runs in 2019 but did not get desired results. Now, the reusable launch vehicle program is up and running well at this stage. The next phase is eagerly awaited when this Made in India space shuttle will be launched from a regular ISRO rocket into the space and space shuttle landing on the ground just like a regular airplane. With continuing emphasis on Made in India weapons and defense systems, the news has come that India is now exporting to over 85 countries in the defense sector. In a written statement laid on the floor of the Parliament, the Defense Ministry stated that 100 Indian firms are now exporting defense products. The rising defense exports and participation of 104 countries in the just concluded Aero India 2023 is a proof of India's growing defense manufacturing capabilities. In a tweet, Prime Minister Narendra Modi described the achievement as a clear manifestation of India's talent and enthusiasm towards Make in India. It also shows the reforms in this sector over the last few years are delivering good results. Our government will keep supporting efforts to make India a defense production hub. Today, India, which was known as an importer about 8 years back, exports major platforms like Dornier 228, 155 advanced towed artillery guns, BrahMos missiles, Akash missile systems and radars, to name just a few of the inventory. To give a push to the defense exports, government has taken up a number of policy initiatives and broad reforms over the last 5-6 years. The export procedures have been simplified and made industry-friendly with an end-to-end online export authorization curtailing delays and bringing ease of doing business. Defense Secretary Giridhar Armane on Friday inaugurated the third production line of light combat aircraft set up by Hindustan Aeronautics Limited at its Nasik plant in Maharashtra. He also handed over 10 Sukhoi Mki aircraft repaired and overhauled by HAL to the Indian Air Force. Speaking at the occasion, the chairman of the Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, CBE Anantakrishnan, said that this new production line will boost up production capability and capacity of HAL to produce light combat aircraft, the LCA Mk1 Alpha, from 16 to 24 aircrafts every year. HAL's Nasik division has achieved peak overall capacity of 20 Su-30 aircraft per year, despite having supply chain issues in current geopolitical situations. The HAL chairman, Mr. Anantakrishna, added. HAL has already set up 2 LCA manufacturing lines in Bengaluru. It may be recalled that Hindustan Aeronautics Limited Nasik division was set up specially for Sukhoi Mki ROH facility in 2014, having gained experience from manufacturing the MiG series, the Sukhoi 30 Mki aircraft, and the subsequent overhaul of the MiG series aircraft. HAL has successfully mastered the technology with valuable support from the Indian Air Force. In February 2021, Defence Ministry signed a 48,000 crore deal with HAL to supply 83 LCA Mark 1 Alpha jets. As per the contract, Hindustan Aeronautics Limited will deliver the first 3 aircraft in 2024 for the next 5 years. Silinex 2023 is the 10th edition of annual India-Sri Lanka bilateral maritime exercise and was conducted for 3 days beginning from 3rd of April. This India-Sri Lanka naval exercise was divided into 2 parts, the harbour phase as well as the sea phase. The harbour phase was held at Colombo in Sri Lanka, followed by sea phase held in the international waters near the Sri Lankan coastline. The 2023 edition of Silinex was important in more than one ways, as this time around it was held for the first time after COVID-19 pandemic and also the first time after Indian Navy changed its ensign. A small contingent of Air Force as well as the Special Forces were also part of this bilateral Indo-Sri Lankan naval exercise. The Indian Navy was represented by INS Kiltan, an advanced anti-submarine warfare corvette, and INS Savitri, an offshore patrol vessel. The Sri Lankan Navy was represented by SLNS Gajabahu, an advanced offshore patrol vessel, and SLNS Sagara, an OPV, an offshore patrol vessel. In an unfortunate incident in Sikkim, 8 tourists died in an avalanche that occurred near the India-China border on 4th of April, while Indian Army units with paramilitary forces rescued many tourists. The incident took place about 15 miles ahead of Nathula border crossing, a location up to where tourists are allowed near the Changu Lake area. Approximately 20 tourists along with 5 to 6 vehicles were reportedly trapped in the avalanche. A search operation was mounted in which 13 tourists were rescued and taken to district hospitals in the Gangtok city area. And lastly, on Saturday, the 8th of April, President of India Draupadi Murmu took her maiden sortie in the Sukhoi 30 fighter aircraft. The event was held at Air Force Base Station at Tezpur in Assam. That is all for this week's Defense News Weekly. Keep watching the space for Newsgate Television.